Edd Gould was a British animator and YouTube creator whose work left a lasting mark on the world of independent online animation. His web cartoon series Eddsworld, which he first launched in 2003, became one of the defining shows of its era on the platform, celebrated for its sharp, dark humor, its clever pop culture references, and an animation style that was immediately recognizable and entirely his own. Edd handled virtually every aspect of the production himself, working as the animator, the writer, and the voice actor for the series simultaneously, and the devotion he poured into the work was evident in every frame. Eddsworld grew into one of the most beloved independent animated productions YouTube had ever seen, and it inspired a generation of creators who came up watching it. Beyond his talent, Edd was known for his genuinely warm and cheerful character and for the close friendships he built within the creator community, including a well-known bond with fellow YouTuber Tomska. Tragically, Edd Gould passed away on March 25, 2012 at the age of 23. He had been living with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, a form of blood cancer that he was first diagnosed with back in 2006. After an initial period of treatment, he entered remission, but the cancer returned, and he publicly revealed his diagnosis in a 2011 video titled Edd vs. Cancer, uploading it alongside Tom and Matt. He was unable to overcome the illness a second time. What made Edd's story particularly moving was the way he faced his illness. He never retreated from his work or his audience. He kept animating, kept engaging with fans, and kept creating all the way through his treatment. His final animation, Space Face Part 1, was completed and later released posthumously. After he passed, Tomska and Matt Hargreaves uploaded a tribute video to announce the news to the community, and the response from across the internet was enormous. Fellow creators, longtime fans, and people who had simply grown up watching Eddsworld came together to mourn someone who had genuinely meant something to them. His friends, in keeping with wishes Edd had expressed during his lifetime, continued the series in his honor. Edd Gould is remembered today as one of the most important figures in the early history of YouTube animation, and as someone whose courage and creative spirit never dimmed even when everything else around him was getting harder. Colin Charles Wyckoff, known across the internet by his online alias Kitty0706, was an American YouTuber and animator who became one of the most beloved figures in the Garry's Mod and Team Fortress 2 machinima community. Born on July 6, 1994 in New Jersey, Wyckoff launched his YouTube channel in April 2007 while still a teenager and almost immediately began producing content that stood apart from everything else being made in his space. His videos combined absurdist humor, rapid-fire editing, and a storytelling instinct that was genuinely ahead of its time, and his fan base grew quickly as word spread about how funny and creative his work was. His most famous productions, including The Moments with Heavy Series and Team Fabulous 2, became touchstone videos for an entire generation of gaming content fans. On May 9th, 2012, Wyckoff was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia after experiencing persistent abdominal pain that led to a blood test revealing an alarming white blood cell count. He initially responded to treatment and entered remission, but the disease relapsed before the end of 2013. On December 24, 2013, he announced that he had received a bone marrow transplant and declared himself completely cancer-free. Unfortunately, the cancer returned in January 2015, and this time, there was nothing more the doctors could do. Wyckoff passed away on January 25, 2015 at the age of 20. He had spent the final years of his life battling an illness that kept coming back, and he did so while still being present for the community that cared so much about him. His death hit the gaming and animation communities with enormous force. Fellow creators made tribute videos, artists posted memorial pieces, and fans shared his work with people who had never seen it before, introducing a new audience to a creator they had lost too soon. In 2020, 5 years after his passing, the online community organized an extraordinary collaborative project called Team Fabulous 2 Reanimated, in which more than 100 animators each took a segment of one of Wyckoff's most famous videos and recreated it in their own style. The project raised over $22,000 for leukemia research. That kind of tribute, organized entirely by fans and fellow creators years after his death, speaks more clearly than anything else about the scale of the impact Kitty0706 had on the people who loved his work. Technoblade was an American YouTuber whose real name was Alexander, and he became one of the most beloved and celebrated Minecraft players in the history of the game, known in equal measure for his extraordinary competitive skill and his deeply self-aware, deadpan sense of humor. He began uploading videos in 2013, but it was in 2019 that his profile rose dramatically, as he began winning major Minecraft tournaments and entering into high-profile competitive events that brought him to the attention of an audience far beyond the one he had already built. A much-watched duel against fellow creator Dream, organized and hosted by MrBeast, became one of the defining moments of that period of Minecraft content and drew millions of viewers. His channel had accumulated nearly 11 million subscribers at the time of his death, and the community that gathered around his content was passionate, dedicated, and deeply attached to the persona he had cultivated. In August of 2021, Technoblade told his audience something that none of them were prepared to hear. He had been diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic sarcoma, a rare and aggressive form of cancer. He had first noticed something was wrong when he experienced pain and swelling in his right arm, and after seeking medical attention, the diagnosis had come back devastating. He documented his treatment in the way he documented everything, with honesty and with a humor that never felt like deflection, but rather like the genuine expression of who he was. He underwent chemotherapy and a limb salvage surgery as his medical team worked to give him the best possible chance. The cancer continued to advance. On June 30th, 2022, his father logged into Technoblade's YouTube channel and uploaded a final video titled "So Long Nerds," reading aloud a message his son had written for his community. Technoblade expressed gratitude for everything his audience had given him and closed with words that have stayed with his fans ever since. That if he had 100 lives, he thought he would choose to be Technoblade in every single one of them. He was 23 years old. Mojang Studios placed a crown on the pig character in the Minecraft launcher in his honor. A subsequent Minecraft film included a brief cameo of a crowned pig as a tribute. Proceeds from his merchandise were directed to the Sarcoma Foundation of America, and the combined fundraising effort crossed $1 million. Technoblade is remembered as someone who is funny and brilliant and real, and whose death left a hole in the Minecraft community that has never been filled. Charles Marvin Green Jr., known to millions of viewers as Angry Grandpa, was an American YouTube personality who became one of the most uniquely entertaining figures the platform produced during its early years. Born on October 16th, 1950 in Chatham County, Georgia, Green had lived a full life before the internet ever knew his name, working as a firefighter and running small businesses before his son Michael began filming his outbursts and uploading them to YouTube in 2007. The channel, The Angry Grandpa Show, built its entire identity around Green's explosive and often hilarious reactions to pranks, frustrations, and everyday domestic chaos. His temper was genuine, his personality was unfiltered, and somehow that combination produced content that audiences found completely irresistible. Over the course of a decade, the channel accumulated millions of subscribers, and Green had become a genuine YouTube institution, a larger-than-life character who felt as real and as raw as anyone on the platform. His health began to decline noticeably in 2017. After collapsing at a 4th of July gathering at his son's home, he was taken to the hospital and diagnosed with liver cirrhosis, a progressive condition in which scar tissue builds up in the liver over time and ultimately disrupts its ability to function. The diagnosis was serious, and despite the efforts of his medical team, Green's condition continued to worsen throughout the remainder of the year. On December 10th, 2017, Charles Marvin Green Jr. passed away at his home in Summerville, South Carolina, at the age of 67. The grief from his fan community was immediate and widespread. Fellow creators who had grown up watching him paid their respects, and fans who had followed the channel for years mourned not just a YouTube personality, but someone who had felt genuinely present in their lives. He is remembered as one of the platform's true originals, a man who became famous simply by being exactly who he was. Desmond Daniel Amafa, known online as Etika, was an American YouTuber and live streamer who built one of the most passionate and devoted fan communities on the platform through his electrifying reactions to gaming announcements, Nintendo releases, and internet culture. Born on May 12, 1990 in Brooklyn, New York, Amafa launched his online career in 2007 and rose to prominence through his EW Network channel beginning around 2012. His reactions were unlike anything else on the platform. He screamed, he cried, he laughed until he could barely speak, and every moment of it felt completely genuine. His fanbase, who called themselves the Joy-Con Boys, were fiercely loyal, and the community he built around himself was lively and deeply connected to him as a person. In the period leading up to his death, however, it became clear that Amafa was struggling in ways that went far beyond what his audience had seen before. He posted videos and messages online that alarmed fans and friends alike, and he was hospitalized multiple times between October 2018 and May 2019 following welfare concerns. On June 19, 2019, he uploaded a video in which he spoke openly about his mental state and about the toll that years of social media had taken on him. The video was deeply concerning to everyone who watched it. He was reported missing the following day on June 20th. On June 24, 2019, his body was recovered from the East River near the Manhattan Bridge in New York City. And on June 25th, the New York City medical examiner confirmed that Desmond Amafa had died by suicide. He was 29 years old. The grief that followed was enormous and felt across every corner of the internet. Fans gathered in Brooklyn, murals were painted in his honor in Bushwick, and fundraisers were organized in his memory to support mental health organizations. His death became one of the most discussed and cited examples of the mental health crisis that was quietly consuming many creators who lived their lives in the full, unrelenting glare of the internet. He is remembered with tremendous love by the community he built and left behind. Daniel Bernstein, known to the world by his online alias Reckful, was one of the most gifted and influential figures in the history of competitive gaming and live streaming. Born on May 8, 1989 in Los Angeles, California, he grew up to become one of the highest-ranked World of Warcraft players on the planet, achieving arena ratings that very few players in the world could match, and finishing rank 1 for 6 consecutive seasons. His skill was not just impressive in a technical sense, it was genuinely captivating to watch, and his streams on Twitch drew massive audiences who came as much for his personality and his openness as for the gameplay itself. Reckful was one of the earliest mainstream streamers to speak honestly and consistently about his mental health, including his struggles with depression and bipolar disorder, and his willingness to have those conversations in front of an audience made a genuine difference for a great many people who were dealing with similar things in silence. His life had not been without its share of profound pain. He had lost his brother, who also died by suicide, and that loss had shaped him in ways he spoke about with difficult honesty. On July 2nd, 2020, Byron Bernstein passed away at the age of 31 at his home in Austin, Texas. Emergency responders were called but were unable to revive him. His death was confirmed by authorities and mourned immediately across the gaming world. Blizzard Entertainment honored his legacy by adding an in-game rogue trainer NPC named Reckful to World of Warcraft, placed inside the Cathedral of Light, giving the millions of players who had been inspired by him a place within the virtual world he had loved so much to pay their respects. The tribute was a rare gesture from a major studio, and it reflected just how much his presence had meant to the culture he had spent his career helping to build. Reckful is remembered not only as an exceptional player, but as a human being who tried, at great personal cost, to make it easier for others to talk about the things that hurt them. Brandon Dylan Asher, known online as Bashurverse and later as Toasty Time, was a well-known figure in the early YouTube gaming community whose journey was one of the more complicated and ultimately human stories that the platform produced. Born on September 9th, 1985, he became part of the first wave of Minecraft content creators, building a following through series like The Legend of the Hobo and a vlogging channel called Bash Does Things, collaborating with prominent names in the space and connecting with an audience who genuinely enjoyed his personality. His career was not without turbulence. He became involved in a controversy years into his time on the platform that had a lasting and serious impact on both his public standing and his personal well-being, and he spent a significant period of time working to rebuild, returning to content creation in 2019 under his new alias, Toasty Time. What was notable about that process was that he did it openly, continuing to upload and making a genuine effort to be better. For a community that often has little patience for second chances, his persistence said something about his character. In August of 2021, Asher contracted COVID-19 and quickly developed pneumonia as a secondary complication. He shared his experience from the hospital with his followers in real time, posting updates about his condition and urging his audience, with unmistakable seriousness, to take the illness seriously and to get vaccinated. Despite everything the medical team did for him, his condition did not improve. Brandon Dylan Asher passed away on September 12th, 2021 at the age of 36. His sister Aniza confirmed the news and spoke movingly about his resilience and the person he had been working to become. His death prompted genuine reflection within the gaming community about the human cost of public controversy and the importance of allowing people the space to change. Christina Grimmie was an American singer and YouTuber whose talent was obvious from the moment she first started uploading videos online. Born on March 12th, 1994 in Marlton, New Jersey, she was 15 years old when she created her YouTube channel, Zeldax Love 64, in 2009 and began posting covers of popular songs. Her voice was extraordinary, powerful, and controlled with an emotional range that was rare in someone so young, and it did not take long for her to build a following that stretched well beyond the typical reach of a teenager posting videos from home. Her covers were not just technically impressive, they were genuinely moving, and audiences responded to that. Her growing online presence opened doors that most young musicians could only dream of. She landed opening act slots for Selena Gomez and made it to the semifinals of the 6th season of NBC's The Voice in 2014, where she competed under the mentorship of Adam Levine and finished in 3rd place. Her career was building towards something significant. She had a voice the industry recognized and an audience that loved her, and everything suggested that the years ahead were going to be remarkable. On the evening of June 10th, 2016, Grimmie was performing at the Plaza Live in Orlando, Florida, and was holding a meet and greet session for fans following the concert when a man named Kevin James Loibel, who had traveled from St. Petersburg specifically to find her, approached her and opened fire. Her brother Marcus was nearby and tackled Loibel immediately, preventing further harm, but Loibel then turned the gun on himself. Christina was rushed to a nearby hospital, but she did not survive. She passed away on June 10th, 2016 at the age of 22. Investigators later determined that Loibel had made the trip with premeditated intent, though no coherent motive was ever established. The loss was devastating on every level. Adam Levine offered to cover the costs of her funeral. A GoFundMe campaign raised substantial funds for her family. VidCon and other live events began reviewing their security procedures in the aftermath. The Christina Grimmie Foundation was established to carry her name and her values forward, but none of that could replace what had been taken. Christina Grimmie was 22 years old, with a voice that deserved decades more of use, and she was gone in a moment of senseless violence that no one who loved her will ever fully understand.